Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into a really complex and, frankly, deeply personal situation. It's centered around an alleged investment scam involving someone named Ghazala Din, starting around July 2020. Our goal here is to try and navigate these really conflicting accounts, these puzzling events, and figure out what happened to people's money. And crucially, what we can all learn from this is quite a tangled web.
It really is. And what's fascinating right from the start is how these informal arrangements, combined with, well, a lack of clear paperwork and these constantly shifting stories, it just creates such a challenge for understanding what happened, let alone finding any kind of recourse. We'll definitely explore the different angles. Was it a genuine business failure or something much more deliberate?
Yeah, exactly. Given how personal and messy this is, the first thing is how did these investments even happen? And, well, we hit a wall pretty quick. Most of it was apparently done in cash. So tracing it, almost impossible.
Classic problem.
Though some money was transferred electronically. We're hearing about maybe £5,000 from one person's daughter, maybe another £3,000 from their own funds. But here's a kicker, and maybe a lesson for listeners. Key text message evidence, proof of these agreements, apparently just vanished when someone changed their phone. How big a deal is losing that digital trail?
Oh, it's huge. Happens all too often, unfortunately. Relying on informal stuff like texts or chat apps, I mean, it's convenient, but for significant money, it's a massive blind spot. That lack of a formal record, plus how easily digital data gets lost. It's often why these cases are so hard to pursue. Cash is one thing, very hard to trace. But even texts, while informal, they can carry weight if you can authenticate them. Losing them, that can totally shift who has to prove what. It's critical.
Okay, so onto the alleged perpetrator, Gazella. Over 3 years, there is this stream of excuses,
Something
right?
like it, yeah.
The investment flopped. Money got seized by banks, which sounds dramatic. She was in hospital. She just needed time. She was working on it. Always something. But then things escalated. Legal action started looming. And apparently, right after one investor actually filmed themselves handing her legal papers, she disappeared from the city.
Right. And what often gets missed there is the psychological aspect, that long string of excuses, illness, bank issues, whatever. It's not just stalling. It can be seen as a strategy, really, to wear victims down emotionally, financially, hoping they'll just give up.
Ah,
And the emotional stuff, like saying she's always praying or crying, that plays into it too. Building empathy, delaying accountability, then the disappearance right when the legal heat is on. That's often the final move in that wear-down tactic. It really forces you to think critically about why all those delays happened.
so with her gone, the big question became, did she flee because the business genuinely failed, or was it, planned, calculated? And we're hearing two very different stories from people involved. One view is, yeah, maybe it was a genuine flop. Maybe she just didn't know how to handle it, felt terrible. I mean, she even left her mom behind, apparently. But based on that pattern you just described, how does that genuine flop idea hold up against those red flags?
That's the core conflict, isn't it? Look, genuine business failures absolutely happen. But that consistent pattern excuses, emotional appeals, vanishing act, it does lean away from simple bad luck or incompetence. The other perspective, calling it absolute nonsense, pure lying, maybe part of a bigger plan to take off with potentially millions, well, that view gains traction, especially when you hear the investments were supposedly in physical properties. Properties should, still exist somewhere.
Good point.
Plus, the conflicting stories told to different people, the lack of clarity about any actual company or partners involved, it all makes you question the flop narrative. And apparently she even tried to blame one of the investors for the whole mess, telling her own family that they were in charge. That's quite something.
Wow. Despite all these obstacles, though, people are fighting back. They're not just letting it go. They're going after banks for the transferred amounts, trying to find other victims to build a stronger case, even using the threat of social media exposure. One person apparently knows a well-known figure in Pakistan.
Leveraging connections.
And one individual even managed to get her bank account frozen, at least temporarily. When so much is undocumented, what does fighting back even look like? Is freezing an account common?
It shows incredible determination, but it's incredibly tough. Freezing an account is a strong move, yes, but often just temporary unless you have solid evidence for a proper legal case, civil or criminal. With cash involved in informal agreements, victims face a real uphill battle. Often it comes down to public pressure or grouping together lots of smaller claims. And this whole experience just shows the immense mental toll, the stress, the depression it can cause. It's way beyond just the money lost. The personal cost is profound.
Yeah, absolutely. This whole deep dive into the Ghazala Din case really hammers home how vital diligence is. And documentation. Always documentation in any financial dealing. That digital trail, or lack of it, often becomes the only thing you can point to.
It really prompts that question for everyone listening. How do you protect yourself from these kinds of alleged deceptions? Especially when trust, deep trust, is involved. You absolutely have to verify things independently, even if it's someone you know well. In a world just swimming with conflicting information, verification is key.
So here's a final thought for you to consider. When you have that personal connection blurring lines with serious financial transactions, how do you strike that balance between empathy and necessary skepticism? And ultimately, when it all goes wrong, where does the responsibility truly lie?